The global power landscape is shifting dramatically, in ways that few could have predicted just a decade ago. The world is witnessing a profound transformation, as old alliances are tested and new partnerships emerge on the international stage. The balance of influence, once firmly rooted in the West, is now in flux, with nations re-evaluating their roles and relationships in this evolving order. On September 10, 2025, Hungary and Greece made headlines by announcing their intent to join the BRICS alliance. This bold move sent shockwaves through the European Union, challenging the very idea of EU unity and raising questions about the future direction of European integration. For many, it signaled a willingness to look beyond traditional Western frameworks in search of new opportunities and alliances. This decision calls into question the EU's status as the ultimate destination for European nations. Instead, it suggests a world that is becoming increasingly multipolar, where power and influence are distributed among a wider array of actors, and where countries are free to pursue their own interests on the global stage. BRICS, which began as a simple economic acronym, has evolved into a formidable political alternative to Western-led institutions. Its growing influence is attracting countries that feel marginalized or constrained by the existing global order, offering them a platform to assert their sovereignty and shape international policies. The decision by Hungary and Greece reflects a deeper dissatisfaction with the current system of global governance. It highlights the frustrations of nations that feel their voices are not being heard and their interests not adequately represented within traditional Western alliances. This realignment raises important questions about the continued appeal of the Western model. As more countries consider alternative paths, concerns about global stability and the future of international cooperation are growing. The world is entering a period of uncertainty, where established norms are being challenged and new rules are being written. For years, the economic center of gravity has been shifting eastward, with Asia emerging as a powerhouse of growth and innovation. Now, political power appears to be following suit, as countries seek to align themselves with rising centers of influence and opportunity. The decision by Hungary and Greece could serve as a catalyst, inspiring other nations, especially those on the periphery of major alliances, to reconsider their own positions. As the appeal of alternative blocs grows, the global landscape may see even more dramatic shifts in the years ahead. Around the world, governments, analysts, and ordinary citizens are watching closely as these historic changes unfold. The redrawing of alliances and the emergence of new power centers are being scrutinized for their potential to reshape the 21st century. This is a pivotal moment in history, one that demands our attention and understanding, as the very maps of global power are being redrawn before our eyes. The choices made today will echo for generations to come, shaping the world of tomorrow. To truly grasp the significance of today's headlines, it's essential to understand the origins and evolution of BRICS, a group that has steadily risen in global importance over the past 2 decades. The term BRICS was first coined in 2001 by a British economist, originally referring to Brazil, Russia, India, and China. At the time, it was simply an economic concept, highlighting the potential of these emerging markets to reshape the world economy. It was not yet a formal political alliance, but rather a vision of future influence. Over the years, as these nations grew in economic and political strength, they began to seek greater representation and a stronger voice within global institutions like the United Nations and the International Monetary Fund. Their shared interests and desire for reform brought them closer together. The first official BRICS summit took place in 2009, marking a turning point as these countries coordinated their efforts on the world stage, signaling their intent to play a more active role in shaping global affairs. In 2010, South Africa was invited to join, transforming BRIC into BRICS and extending the group's influence to the African continent. This move underscored the bloc's commitment to inclusivity and global reach. As BRICS matured, it sought to challenge the dominance of Western-led financial systems. The group established its own institutions, aiming to provide alternatives for development financing and economic cooperation. The creation of the new Development Bank and the Contingent Reserve Arrangement marked significant milestones, offering member countries new tools for investment and financial stability, independent of traditional Western institutions. In 2024, BRICS underwent its largest expansion yet, welcoming 6 new members. This bold move further increased its global reach and influence, making the group more diverse and representative of the developing world. Today, BRICS stands as a diverse coalition, united by the goal of creating a more multipolar world order. Its growing appeal has attracted interest from countries like Hungary and Greece, who see opportunities in joining this dynamic alliance. Now, both Hungary and Greece are actively seeking membership, aiming to become part of this expanded and ambitious BRICS community, which continues to shape the future of global cooperation and power dynamics. Why would Hungary and Greece, EU nations, make such a move? For Hungary, it's a strategic pivot under Prime Minister Orbán's Eastern opening policy. Hungary seeks economic growth free from EU constraints, with significant Chinese investment. Greece's motivations stem from the scars of the 2010s debt crisis. Greece sees BRICS as a source of financing without harsh conditions. Greece's strategic location enhances its appeal to BRICS. Both nations aim to diversify dependencies and secure economic futures. By joining BRICS, they hope to maximize influence and opportunities. This move reflects a desire for greater economic autonomy and independence. Hungary and Greece's journey to BRICS was a diplomatic dance. Discreet talks with BRICS members led to today's announcement. Public signals of intent emerged in early 2025. Hungary and Greece applied to join the BRICS new development bank. Today's declaration confirms their formal request for accession. Prime Ministers Orbán and Mitsotakis emphasized economic interests. BRICS responded positively, scheduling talks for November 2025. Full accession is expected by January 2027. This move shatters the geopolitical barrier between the West and the global South. The prospect of Hungary and Greece joining BRICS is sending ripples through the global economy, signaling a dramatic shift in the balance of power. This move, if realized, would mark the first time European Union members align themselves so closely with the BRICS bloc, challenging long-standing alliances and economic norms. As Hungary and Greece gain access to vast new markets within BRICS, established trade patterns are likely to be redrawn. Traditional routes that once favored intra-European commerce may now pivot toward emerging economies, opening up fresh opportunities for growth and collaboration. Products from Hungary and Greece, ranging from agricultural goods to advanced machinery, could find eager new consumers in BRICS nations. This expansion could boost exports, create jobs, and foster innovation, but it also introduces new competition and market dynamics. However, navigating the complex web of regulations between the EU and BRICS will not be easy. Conflicting standards, tariffs, and legal frameworks could create significant hurdles for businesses and policymakers alike, requiring careful negotiation and adaptation. There is also the risk of retaliation from EU partners, who may view this pivot as a threat to unity. Such actions could disrupt existing supply chains, slow down production, and even lead to economic isolation for Hungary and Greece within the European market. Meanwhile, the BRICS initiative to reduce reliance on the US dollar, known as de-dollarization, could accelerate with the inclusion of EU members. This would not only strengthen the BRICS bloc, but also challenge the dollar's long-standing dominance in global trade. As more trade deals are settled in local currencies like the euro, ruble, or yuan, the global financial landscape could shift. The US dollar may lose some of its influence, impacting everything from exchange rates to international investments. For ordinary citizens in Hungary and Greece, the economic effects will be mixed. Some may benefit from new jobs and business opportunities, while others could face uncertainty, rising costs, or job displacement as industries adapt to the new reality. Governments will need to manage these changes carefully, balancing the promise of growth with the risks of instability. New opportunities in logistics, exports, and finance may arise, but only if leaders can navigate the challenges ahead. Ultimately, the decision to join BRICS is a high-stakes gamble. The outcome will depend on how well Hungary and Greece can adapt, and whether their people see tangible benefits from this bold move. As these changes unfold, the global financial order stands on the brink of transformation, with new alliances and rivalries shaping the future of international trade and currency. This move challenges the Western alliance's unity. Hungary and Greece's decision questions EU integration's core principle. It sets a precedent for other EU members to explore alternative alliances. NATO faces a dilemma with members joining a bloc led by Russia and China. Intelligence sharing and military loyalty come into question. The EU's power relies on unity, but this move threatens its influence. Brussels must respond carefully to avoid further fragmentation. Globally, this accelerates the shift to a multipolar world order. Alliances may become more fluid and issue-based. The world is entering a more complex and unpredictable geopolitical landscape. This realignment impacts Hungarian and Greek societies deeply. Public opinion is divided with tension on the streets. Supporters see it as reclaiming sovereignty and new opportunities. Opponents fear erosion of democracy and EU values. Social and political polarization could increase. National identities may shift, influencing education and culture. Daily life changes may be gradual but noticeable. The media landscape could shift towards BRICS nations. This societal pivot challenges the notion of European identity. This development signals the end of a US-led global order. Analysts see it as a pragmatic choice over ideological alignment. BRICS' economic weight is too significant to ignore. Smaller economies seek access to vast markets beyond the EU. Geopolitically, it's a strategic win for China and Russia. It creates divisions within the Western alliance, complicating security planning. The EU may need to reform to prevent further defections. BRICS could moderate with democratic influences from new members. We are entering an era of competitive coexistence between global systems. Western policymakers must manage this competition wisely. Hungary and Greece's BRICS move is a defining moment. It marks the end of a unipolar world and the rise of complexity. This decision challenges economic gravity and Western disillusionment. The path forward is uncertain for all involved. Hungary and Greece gamble on the global South's dynamism. The EU faces a crisis, needing to reinvent its value proposition. The US and G7 must adapt to a changing global landscape. This story affects global stability and alliances. Understanding this new reality is crucial for navigating it wisely. We must engage in a nuanced debate about our place in the world.